The Olympics are a big deal. Each country gives their all to get medals that can be shown off for the rest of these athletes' lives. And these athletes go through a lot of work to be able to try to earn one of these medals. Now, this amazing athleticism was never something I thought I'd see from Nintendo and Sega until Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games originally released for the Wii in 2007. This game series really took advantage of motion controls, which the Wii was obviously known for, and proceeded to release every 2 to 4 years following the Olympic cycle, proceeding on to, even the Wii U console. There were DS games, 3DS games, and then Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, which is the first foray of this series on the Nintendo Switch. And also my first time seriously sitting down and playing any game from the series, besides a single mini game here and there at friends' houses. Now, I'm going to go through the story mode, see what that looks like, try out all the events, and even get some local multiplayer action in while I try to determine where Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 lands on my game list. This Mario and Sonic Olympic Games title has an actual story mode. This isn't just an average, oh, let's go and do some Olympic events with all the Mario and Sonic characters. This is a different thing entirely. The story starts out with the titular characters Mario and Sonic doing their thing, when next thing you know, thanks to Bowser and Dr. Eggman, all 4 of those characters are sucked into a box and sent to a 1964 version of Japan to do the Olympic Games there. Now, we have Luigi, Tails, Bowser Jr., and Eggman Nego working to fix this situation and get some or all of the people out of the past Olympic game box. Also, no, I don't really know who Eggman Nega is. I looked it up and it's just another character. I don't know. But what's actually interesting about the story mode in this game is it is more than just performing Olympic events, which there are of course a ton of. But there's also these mini-game type events. These revolve around different story moments that tend to be interesting for this type of game. It can be trying to get access to new actual Olympic events, or it could be chasing down Bowser or Eggman. Now, the story has a good competitive yet cooperative vibe, where, sure, the villains are villaining, and there are points where, everyone is actually fair to each other and works together. It's interesting to watch these two worlds mixed together in a real-life location like Tokyo, and overall, for this kind of game, I would say the story was good, but nothing exceptional. I'm going to give the story 38 points. Look, it's the Olympic Games. You know at least partially what to expect when I talk about the gameplay, right? Well, there's the basic track events, running and hurdles and such. Jumping events like triple jump and, horse jumping? Anyway, there's also the standard of, surfing. What? Oh, yeah, so the Olympic Games actually has a ton of different events, and those from standard to not a standard have made their way into this game. I have to say, the events for the most part feel really unique. Sure, there are a couple of events that are really similar, but even then, there tends to be a mechanic or extra button push you have to do to get better results. This is all ignoring the 1964 Olympic game options. I have to say, these events are less fun. They go from either way too easy to way too difficult. I actually almost skipped the volleyball minigame during story mode because I just didn't enjoy it and it was way too difficult for me. Thankfully, there isn't as much of these, but while, as I mentioned before, the 1964 story mode was interesting, the gameplay overall was not. Now, this includes the side missions you do in story mode. Again, the 2020 minigames I enjoyed overall. I got to climb or do other fun things. However, the 1964 side minigames were just not great for me. All this being said, I'm going to give gameplay for this game 42 points. Now, I'll be honest, every once in a while I turn into a sucker for local multiplayer. Something about sitting down with friends or people I live with and just goofing around is a good time. In Mario and Sonic Tokyo 2020, the multiplayer is pretty much what you expect, but in the best way. It's really fun to sit with your friends and try to make sure you win. It almost has a Mario Party minigame quality to it where it may be simple, quote-unquote, things going on, but let me tell you, I've never mashed a button as fast as I did with 2 people doing the same next to me. The only other thing I have to say about multiplayer is it doesn't actually have a real lasting value. Now, while there are a good number of events for something like the story mode, when going against your friends, it's really fun the first and maybe second time, but then you don't really feel like doing them again, even later. A couple days after playing the multiplayer for the first time, I asked my roommates if they wanted to play it again, and I got a resounding, I guess. Or we could play something else. So while the multiplayer is fun, it's only fun for a short amount of time, and that's going to run out pretty quickly. Because of that, I'm only going to give multiplayer 34 points. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 is not only a mouthful to say, but it's a neat game overall. With story at 38 points, gameplay at 42 points, and multiplayer at 34 points, this game's total is 114 points. This puts it above games that I didn't really enjoy, like Automa Chef and Cluster Truck, but below other games, of course, like Newt 1 and Detroit Become Human. I did enjoy this game, but there just isn't really much else to talk about in this game that I can really assign points to. As far as recommendations for this game, I would say rent it if possible. It is 2020 and I understand that, so maybe wait till Nintendo has one of their rare game sales for this game. Otherwise, if you have kids who you think may like it and their attention will be grabbed a little bit longer than a handful of 20-somethings, go ahead and grab the game, give it a buy. You know, they might have a lot more fun and it might be a little bit more longevity than when I played it. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching my video today. If you like what I do, hit the subscribe button or check me out on Twitter, and I hope you have a good one.